Hey everybody, so I'm going to try to show you how I culture melanogaster wingless fruit flies on a small scale, and I'm going to show you the lid hack that I have come up with that will make feeding your fruit flies, I think, a lot easier and a lot less messy. So also, I don't have fancy editing software. I have to try to do this video in one solid take, so I'll be pausing several times. Please forgive the archaic version of recording here. I'm showing you a picture of what you'll commonly see for fruit fly cultures. It's about a 32-ounce container there. It's got the typical lid that is such a pain in the butt to get off and get the fruit flies out. So I'm also showing you why I'm doing it on a small scale. I only have 3 small morning geckos. Yes, I'm sorry, I'm just showing you a picture rather than actual footage of my geckos. So to do this with a 32-ounce container, I'm going to have way too many fruit flies left over each month, and it's just a hassle. Alright, so how do I get around all this? Ta-da! That is about an 8-ounce Parmesan cheese container. This is actually what I've been using for the past 3 months to culture fruit flies in, and I have converted these lids to make it possible. This lid I've started for you so I can show you how I do this. To begin with, I just put some blue Scotch tape over 2 of these holes, and I do that so that I have something to put the hot glue on. This is just hot glue from a hot glue gun. And put the tape on, put the hot glue over the tape, and before that's finished curing, I close the lid all the way. And the reason I do that while it's curing, these little rings are going to push down into those holes. So obviously if you do that after this is cured, it might not make a solid seal. Okay, so how do I get around this whole thing of having airflow without the flies getting everywhere? Pantyhose. Genius, right? I'm going to try to show you a little bit how I do this. This is not finished, but I've started it. As you can see, I've cut kind of a leg of the pantyhose. I've laid it over this opening, and then I snap that all the way shut, and it holds it in place. With that held in place, I can then hot glue around that opening. And be careful when you're hot gluing everything on the inside here, not to get too far up into these edges. If you get up into these edges, you might not get a solid seal on the threads when you close this back up. So once that's done and that's dried, you can open this lid, take scissors, trim that off, and then after you've trimmed that off, you go over this again with hot glue on this side. Get a solid seal all the way around. I have a black lid which is going to be hard to show up, but I'll try to show you. This lid is finished. I've used this on the first batch I did. Try to give you a good look there. And yes, I used this on my first batch, and then the container I'm probably throwing away. I haven't thrown it away yet, but I clean this out and I'm good to go. All I need is another container. I'm good to go. That right there is a photo of the container I started last month, and I waited a little bit too late, and I only had like maybe 15 flies in there. And I was afraid that I didn't have enough because I had waited so long. Literally, that's all I could get out of my old batch was 15 to 20 fruit flies. If that, it might have even been less. And fortunately, it was enough, and it worked, and I have a fresh culture going. Now this is kind of neat. I wanted to show you this. I have not tried this yet, but apparently this style of lid fits on mason jars. So you can get mason jars if you want to reuse your containers. You can clean these out a lot easier because they're glass. Here's another example. Different size mason jars. There's that lid again. Of course, you can come up with different lid styles apparently by doing this. I thought this one was kind of neat, but I mean, how are you going to get the airflow? You have to find a way to set that up with the airflow, but those are different possibilities out there for you. The medium that I'm using is just Josh's Frogs off of Amazon. I'll put information in the description. This is specifically for melanogaster fruit flies. This container I've already prepared. I've already got the medium in it. What I'm using for, instead of the Excelsior, I'm using coffee filters. I use unbleached because I think that's better. What I do is I take 2 filters in here. I fold it up like this, and then I go over again, and again, and again. And I take my scissors and I just cut down to about, leave about maybe about 1 inch. And then after I cut it, I take something like a pen or the back of a fork, stick it in there like that, and then I can push it down into the medium. This is my batch that I started on February 17th. You can see I've got a ton of fruit flies in here. Again, this batch started with barely 15 fruit flies, and it has completely taken off. And I don't know if I can do this on camera, but I'm going to actually attempt to show you me putting these in here. So I have to do it quick. This will be the end of the video. Hopefully this will work without any problems. Probably overdid it, but see how easy that was? Oh my gosh, it is so much freaking easier. And that is that. I hope you guys enjoy my hack.